Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of the JB Show. Just want to remind everyone to please check out my new podcast with my friend Adam. It's called the 2-on-1 Podcast. I'll leave a link in the description below. Just a quick description. We literally only talk about hockey. So if you like hockey, I promise you this is the podcast for you, where all we talk about is hockey and just the biggest things that are happening in hockey. You'll probably hear me scream here and there. Please go take a listen. We're on Anchor, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're on Apple Podcasts. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can go check it out. First 3 episodes are out. Now let's get back to the JB Show. So what are we going to be talking about today? Now I know these are 2 signings that kind of happened a little earlier on, but I want to bring them up because I thought they're quite important, and we're probably just going to do a little bit of a deep dive. Not deep dive. We're going to do a little bit of what's going on here with this team. Sam Bennett and David Rittich have both signed 2-year deals with the Calgary Flames. Similar AAV, same term. Sam Bennett signs a 2-year deal at $2.55 million. David Rittich signs a 2.75 year deal at for the next 2 years. These deals are quite. There's no. I don't see there being any problems with these deals. Quite low deals. Sam Bennett necessarily hasn't panned out for where he was drafted. Drafted 4th overall in 2014. Same year as it's Zach Blatt trade, the Reinhardt trade, Nylander trade, draft. Sorry, the draft. So we'll see how they do. Well, how he does. I mean, to be honest, I'm not impressed. He's put up over 30 points once, which was his first year. 77 games played, 36 points. I'm not... For a 4th overall pick, I expected better. But with... Essentially, he's kind of your third-line center behind Monahan and Backlund. I'm not really complaining about this deal. Now you can say he's also listed as a winger. Still, you're probably a third-line winger at best. I'm looking at third line. He's really a third-line player. Can play the wing, can play down the middle, whatever you want him to play. But I'm not complaining about the deal. David Rittich, 2 years at $2.75 per year. I think, honestly, this is a show-me deal. He really popped up the year before. I mean, even then, his numbers weren't the greatest. Played 21 games, had a 2.92 goals against average and a .904 save percentage, which is okay. I think it's below league average. Last year, played 45 games, had a 2.61 goals against average and a 911 save percentage. I don't even... Does he have a potential to be a starter? Yes. Next year, I guarantee you he's going to be a starter for the Calgary Flames because their options are him or Mike Smith. And then I'm looking at their non-roster goalies. You got basically Jean Gilles and Tyler Parsons. I'm looking at David Rittich, who played 45 games last year. He'll probably end up playing more. It really depends on how Cam Talbot plays. Sorry, thinking of Mike Smith. We'll see how it goes. Smith played 31 games with Edmonton had a 3.36 goals against average and an 893 save percentage. 4 games with Philly, 3.7 goals against and 881 save percentage. Like, these are just not impressive numbers, especially since he had such a good year in 16-17. The Calgary Flames as a team, it's going to be interesting for them. Now, these 2 signings, to be honest, are minor. These were signings I saw coming. Like, it was obvious that it's not like these guys were going to say, oh, we're not going to sign, or go to arbitration, or say, you know what, we don't want to be here anymore. They wanted to be Calgary Flames. What's going to be big is the Matthew Tkachuk signing. Now, they have $7.7 million in cap space. Is that enough to sign Matthew Tkachuk? Honestly, I don't think so. I think someone is gone. Now I'm looking at who's here. Michael Frolik, 4.3. This is someone Ottawa should be calling about, but he's got a modified no trade clause, so he submits a 10-team no trade list. Ottawa's probably on that team. Derek Ryan, 32, has 2 years left at 3.1. If I'm Ottawa, I'm calling about him. I'm looking at these players. I mean, there's the Milan Lucic, but who the hell is gonna say it? Like, he's been traded to Calgary just because they traded James Neal. I'm looking at this team. There's honestly, they cannot do not believe they can sign Matthew Tkachuk with the salary cap they have right now. I mean, I'm looking at their defense. Both Travis Hamonic and TJ Brody are UFAs at the end of the year. And I don't know, do you trade one of them? It's tough to say. Like, if I'm obviously Calgary, I'd say, you want to trade the older players in Frolik or Derek Ryan, as I don't think they're effective for their cap hit. But who's going to want to take those type of players? Like, let's look at who has the most salary cap space. Winnipeg? Hell no, they got their own stuff to deal with. Colorado? No, they got their own stuff to deal with. Columbus? I mean, they could. Let's look. Who do they have to sign? They have to sign Werenski for sure. That's it. They just have to sign Werenski, and then they have to sign Pierre-Luc Dubois next year, which is not going to be fun, and Josh Anderson. So you want to get, and then Philly. Does Philly really want to bring in a player like Frolik or Derek Ryan? Not really. Got signed Travis Konechny and Ivan Provorov. You're not bringing in a player like Frolik. Unless, I mean, you just signed for some reason, you just signed Kevin Hayes to just over $7 million a year deal. Still don't get that. So, Philly, no. Minnesota, I mean, if you go listen to the episode 3 of the 201 podcast, you'll understand why anything can happen. I mean, a team like LA or a team like the Ducks, maybe. I mean, I know they have their own cap problems, but we're talking about 1 year, 2 year deals, and, maybe you can get a pick or a prospect out of it too, or you can get rid of your own heavy contracts. But right now, I think I could honestly say the Calgary Flames have a little bit of work to do. GM Brad Treliving has some work to do to try to figure something out. I mean, considering I'm going to read you some of the contracts they have signed. I don't think they'd be this nice if they were on the open market. Johnny Gaudreau for the next 3 years is making $6.75 million. That's a steal. Sean Monahan is making $6.375 for the next 4 years. I believe that's a steal. Elias Lindholm, 24 years old, had 78 points in 81 games last year. $4.85 for the next 5 years. And to be honest, is only getting better. And Norris Trophy winner Mark Giordano is making $6.75. I mean, for the next 3 years, which, considering his age and what's going to happen, might be okay. But this one, Noah Hannafin, 22 years of age, $4.95 million for the next 5 years. Those sound like some pretty nice contracts. And here's where the fun begins. They have Milan Lucic at $5.25 for the next 4 years. I mean, they had James Neal at $5.75 for the same amount of time, basically. So they got some work to do. That's the bottom line. The Calgary Flames have their work cut out for them. There's a trade coming. I really think there's a trade coming. Unless Matthew Tkachuk takes a discount, which, you know what, he might. I'm talking from experience as a Leafs fan in the last year, basically, of RFAs who are taking face value or overvalued contracts, depending on who you ask. I find it highly unlikely he signs a discount. But Matthew Tkachuk is not signing until someone else signs. Honestly, I thought the market was set when Sebastian Aho signed the offer sheet, and I was dead wrong. All the agents know that offer sheet was a load of BS. Aho is getting paid under market value, and no one is using that as a comparable. Teams are using that as a comparable, but players are most definitely not. So we are going to wait and see. I will probably end up doing an episode on the latest RFA news. Probably include Marner, Kyle Connor, Patrick Laine, the usuals. But for now, thank you for listening to another episode of the JB Show. Please make sure to continue listening. Please make sure to subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. Send me a DM. So you got suggestions, you got things you want me to talk about, things like any type of comments that maybe I might bring up during a podcast to help me prove a point, help me not prove a point, I don't know. But please message me, let me know. And make sure you go check out the 2-on-1 podcast. Thank you.